All right. Good afternoon, everybody. So I appreciate you all taking time out of your day to come and visit. Another exciting day for us here. It gives me an opportunity to reflect a little bit, and thrilled to have everyone here today. But the reflection, again, we've talked about it in our budget meetings last week. It's been a year ago where we really sat down and started doing the analysis after the Quanex acquisition of EdgeTech. What are we going to do with these IG businesses? And I know Dave and Brent and Kevin had a vision, somehow this has to come together. Well, we put a plan in place. We worked real hard at it. And now what we're looking at today, a year later, is the culmination of a lot of hard work and effort. And, when we went back and looked, why Ohio? Why did we choose Cambridge, Ohio? And it was an interesting fact. Outside of the financial pieces of consolidating the plant and the benefits that it provides, I think even us here locally, those of us that live here in this area, really overlook some of the amazing things that it has to offer in terms of a business. And those factors came into play when we made that decision. It was not just a financial decision. So how do we best serve our customer base? It's through the logistics. We sit on an intersection of two major highways, east, west, north, south, and those types of things help benefit our customers immediately. We sit in the polymer corridor where our materials being rubber based between Case Western, University of Akron, all the way down that corridor, and being able to have access to those resources and that material science, amazing. Locally, training our workforce, being able to partner with things like Zane State, Kent State University up in New Philadelphia, and all the branches to Ohio State, up to Akron, Kent, and all those schools. We sit in an amazing area that has so many unbelievable educational opportunities, and it's here for the taking. So, when you start looking at all of those secondary factors of why Ohio, outside of financial, it became a pretty easy decision because it really was all here. And again, when it's in your own backyard every day, I think we take it for granted. And we're seeing those benefits today, and how we service our customers, and all these things coming together have done an amazing job of helping us prepare for the future, prepare for the rebound of the economy, and when it does, this plant and Quanex will be ready to go, and we're prepared that. And what you guys have done over the course of the year making that happen, absolutely amazing. Whether it be here in our facility in Cambridge or our R&D center up in Solon, Ohio, Ohio is a leader for insulating glass technology, and we're prepared to take advantage of that. So I'm excited to have a lot of people talk to you today, but right now I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to the Mayor of Cambridge, Tom Moore, and allow him to take some time. But again, thank you guys. Enjoy this day, and we'll go from there. Tom?
Well, we go from the tall version to the short version. And people who know me know that's kind of hard to come by. But at the same time, welcome to Cambridge, Ohio, and it couldn't be a prouder moment. Governor, it's great to have you. And everybody else at the same time, it's incredible when you see through a kid's eyes growing up here in this town the changes in this facility. Way back to the RCA and the NCR and some of the heartfelt losses along the journey. And then at the same time, some visionary people came in and got into it a little bit, mixed it up, and got worldwide business going on here. And Quanex Corporation comes in, works out a great agreement, good people, cooperation, CIA, Port Authority, County Commissioners, Mayor's Office, and of course the Governor's Office. Jobs high, Governor Mark Canvey, can't say enough. And our final stretch moments, Senator Balderson one morning sitting there at the table, Norm Blanchard, and we had kind of a nervous moment there real quick, and came together down here, and a lot of good things happened real quick. And watching you come into office a few years ago, I think that's the way you like it, and I think we took care of that. But
following me?
Yeah, I follow you real close. But while we say it, AFC Cable, Quanex, Lash & Miller, Zane State, a lot of things going on in 7077 in Guernsey County. Born and raised here and listened to this all my life about why doesn't anyone pay attention to this area? Well, they are. And it's our time to train and be ready for that. I think it's happening. We got good rural people coming from the interstates all around us, an hour in every direction, clear to the valley, clear on both ends. I feel real excited for where we're trying to go. Good leadership out there, a lot of people, good hearts, trying hard. And I'm going to leave it at that because there's a lot more important people than me here today. But if you can't tell, I've been plugged up a long time trying to get this going like this. Feels real good. seeds are getting planted, action's going to start taking place. And again, yeah, I do watch the governor pretty close. And we're going to keep on pushing you. And by the way, ODOT, we're going to need your help in the future. We got a jammed up truck stop down there, and we got growth coming. Woo! Give them a hand.
Mayor Tom, that's just a hard act to follow.
I get the stage once in a while, I gotta go with it.
Good afternoon to everyone. I believe that our workforce here at Cambridge reflects your enthusiasm. As I flew in today and landed in Cambridge, Ohio, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, we're working on that too.
The beauty of the area, the hearts of the people, and I thought about what a great day it is at Quanex. What a great Ohio story our business is here. It's a great Ohio story for the state, Guernsey County, Cambridge, Ohio, and it reflects the work in this building and that you see here today, Governor, reflects 30 years of hard work, evolution, and partnership that's not only reflected here today by state, local officials, but investments that have been made by entrepreneurs that have drove innovation. We provide the leading spacing products in the world. It has driven energy efficiency for a world that needs energy efficiency through our products, and it's created manufacturing jobs. I've been in manufacturing since 1981. I believe it's the heartbeat of our nation, and that we must have manufacturing jobs. And what's been created here has created world leadership. I've got to say a big thanks to you, Governor, and your office, Jobs Ohio, Guernsey County, the Community Investment Corp, and the Port Authority that's housed right in our plant. When we thought about the restructuring that goes on here, we thought the Development Corporation was so important, we wanted to stay right here with us, because I make this commitment to all of you. We will be good corporate citizens, we will invest in our people, and we'll strive to be the safest and healthiest workforce in industry. We think that's how business works best with our people in the community. As I said, manufacturing is critical. In my mind, when we talk about jobs in our nation, we've seen globalization and capabilities move out of our country. It's important that we continue together as a state, as a nation, as communities to create jobs where we live. To me, manufacturing is the lesson of the Civil War. The North won because they had the factors of production. And in a world today where states and cities around the world want what we have here in the United States, we have to create wealth through manufacturing. To do that requires great partnership that's been reflected here and I think displayed by the state of Ohio and our communities, and it creates opportunities for our people. I've been blessed to be in 49 countries in the world, and every time I got back to the United States, I felt, man, I'm a lucky guy to be born here. But our forefathers and the people that came before us created this opportunity. We've got to continue to build on it, and I think manufacturing for our nation is a core. I'm proud of the leadership and partnership that we've had with your office, Governor Kasich. The changes that you have led in Ohio have made this state a better place to do business with. Having lived in 8 states in the nation, I promise you a good partnership with government is important for industry. I want to thank you for your partnership and the change that you've created here. Let's welcome Governor Kasich.
Thanks. Mayor, that was really good, and you said something that just jumped out at me that we need to do in a lot of our communities. You talked about visionaries. Somebody that was living in this area that had a vision. You know, we have lots of places in our state where people are not doing well. Southern Ohio, you know, has struggled forever. We're putting emphasis on it. Mark, who runs Jobs Ohio, and He's an entrepreneur, and we're now moving the high-speed internet down into southern Ohio. There are a lot of things that we want to do from a research point of view, but I'm always encouraging the people in these towns to come up with something that contains vision. Now, I've been visiting Zanesville since 1970. It was the Greyhound bus that took me from Ohio State to Pittsburgh. And we stopped at in Zanesville, then Cambridge, right? And the Cambridge stop, I don't know if the bus terminal's still in the same, is it still in this? She's saying yes, and you're saying no. That they moved it. Well, you're just a kid. But Cambridge is really is a great town to begin with. And it's interesting what you said about logistics and the highways that are here. Cripe, I went to Salt Fork, I don't know how many times. My wife used to go to Salt Fork every year with her family and some family friends. I don't know what it is, David. Maybe part of it is that Cambridge has such access to Columbus, to the more urban areas, but at the same time being able to still maintain that certain Cambridge kind of feel, which is kind of down home, nice, warm, and good values. I mean, it's just a special place. I do want to thank Brian and Troy. Troy helped us to get Jobs Ohio through. And see, we created this entity. We're taking economic development, the bulk of it, out of the government. Because when it's in the government, things move slower. I mean, as much as you want to speed them up, they just move slower. So we created this not-for-profit entity that Mark runs, and it's filled with people, mostly filled with people who really do understand business. They understand the value of polymers. They understand the value of manufacturing, especially advanced manufacturing. They understand energy. I know you're all energy hungry here for the fracking. But we don't have somebody that doesn't know anything about it doing it. We have people that know how to do it, who talk to the people who do it. So we're going peer-to-peer rather than bureaucrat to CEO, which is not the ideal situation. You want business people to talk to business people to bring about economic development. This is a fantastic thing because of these polymers. And this could be scratching the surface if we get creative enough. And maybe if they get creative enough to do some joint ventures, maybe with some other people that could help them to grow. I mean, you just don't know. But the other thing that's exciting is that Zane State, I'm told, has been working to make sure that we get people enrolled there who, when they graduate, have skills. And I was told today that Zane State has actually come here to say, what do you need? Instead of you searching them out and they have too much bureaucracy, they're actually coming in here saying, how can we be more helpful? This is a part of our old job training program in the state of Ohio. It's a great announcement. This could easily have been in Kentucky, but it isn't. It's fantastic. It's right here in our community, and this is going to be an operation that's going to prosper. And think about it, we're now hooked to a global company. You heard what he said, 41 countries, is that right? I mean, they're just they're spreading their tentacles everywhere because it may not be so much today, but energy efficiency is like a big deal. And we're going to get this right someday so we don't have to keep dependent on the Middle East to send us the stuff that we need from them when they're some of the most unstable regimes in the world. So we're trying to achieve energy independence, and the state of Ohio is doing it with energy efficiency programs in our operation. We're really getting slaughtered here. We were down 400,000 jobs. We were just dying. And I like to think that in Ohio, Dave, we've awakened a sleeping giant. And what do I mean by that? Well, we have great cities. We've got great suburban areas, great communities like this town, Zanesville just down the road. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that in Cambridge, but they're good, great town too. We've got rural areas that can produce agriculture and agribusiness. We focus in more on agribusiness, not just agriculture. And so you take all that plus 11.6 million people, and great education institutions, if we can just keep our costs down, and, we're within 600 miles of 60% of the country, we ought to do pretty darn well. We are up 123,000 jobs. We're now the #1 job creator in the Midwest and #4 in the country. But I must tell you, I'm worried about the future. We still have a lot of people out of work in our state. And when I look at the velocity, Mark and I were talking about this on the way over here, I look at the velocity of companies getting ready to make decisions, it's slowing. And slowing means not good. Now, some of it may be brought on by the national elections, businesses sitting back, deciding they don't want to make any decisions till this election is over. But we got some, fairly decent news today. We were up 122,000. We lost some jobs last month, but we were up more than we thought the month before. So we're up at about 123,000 jobs, which is about a 1,000 job gain. But I'm concerned. I am worried about Ohio's future. And it means we have to work even harder. Mayor, it means we need more of these entrepreneurs bringing their ideas, more creativity. We've got to get our costs down, which is why we continue to look at how we can reduce the cost of government and reduce the cost of business, plus train workers so that people are like our workers. Today in the cabinet meeting, I was just asking how many of these National Guard people coming back from overseas, how many of them have jobs? You'll be stunned to hear this. About 50% of the people that are going to be coming back don't have a job. So isn't it just incredible to think that I've got a veteran, leader, drug-free, disciplined, personally responsible. We got to get them, we got to let employers know they're there. They're like the golden employees that you could have. So we have lots of things to do, but the good news is the sun's coming up in Ohio, and there's, we should be able to continue to do well, but we cannot relax. It's like the first quarter of a football game. We're coming back, we're ahead, but boy, not anybody down there in Texas, but there are other teams that can make a great comeback. No, I think we're kind of glad Texas is not on our schedule anymore. Mark Quame is a venture capitalist. He grew up in California. He's been extremely successful in business, and he came out here for basically 60 days to help stand up Jobs Ohio and get some energy in it, and it's 2 years later, and he's been a great person in terms of stimulating our state and our growth, and I personally am really grateful for what he's done, and we're going to let him talk, and I'm going to shut up. I know this is a little bit more somber than what you expect, so on one hand, I'm thrilled with what's happening, but I just know we have a long way to go to get out of the woods. Do I think we can? There's not a doubt in my mind. I really do believe that we have the formula with our people, our geography, our location, our demographics. I think we can be, one of the greatest states in the country. We used to be, and we can be that again if we keep our shoulder to the wheel. So, without any further ado, Mark Quame.
Well, thank you very much. I do want to say that you guys have a great cheerleader in Columbus, and it's Governor Kasich. I have to tell you, almost every day he asks me, what are we doing for Southeast Ohio? What are we doing for Eastern Ohio? What are we doing for Cambridge? What are we doing for Steubenville? What are we doing for these areas? Because we have great workforce, great capability, good education system. We've got to figure out how to do it. So I'm so excited to be here today because this is a great announcement. It's a net gain of over 300 jobs. The combination, it could have gone to Kentucky. We would have lost jobs here. We brought jobs over from Kentucky, and we allowed us to make this place part of our polymer ecosystem. And one thing that I've learned about Ohio is these amazing ecosystems that have been developed, and David and I were just talking about that. I mean, this company is here not just because of the great workforce and the great capability and a phenomenal mayor, by the way. It's here because of what's going on in Kent State. It's here because of what's going on at Zane State. It's here because of the heritage of B.F. Goodrich and Goodyear and what happened in polymers, what's happened in what used to be called the rubber capital of the world, we now call the polymer capital of the world. 17% of all polymers in the United States originate from the state of Ohio. It's one of our highest growing areas, one of our best paying areas. This is a very key area. And usually when you talk about polymers, people think about tires. No, polymers are in your windows, they're in your doors, they're everywhere. And so what's really exciting to me is to meet with David and see what's going on. But I think what we need to do, as the governor said, this is just the beginning. And one thing I would just implore all of you, and the governor does this all the time as well, is it is the first quarter. Things are heading in the right direction. But you need to tell your friends, your family, everyone what is happening here in Cambridge, Ohio, and what is happening in Ohio. I was up in Cleveland yesterday giving a talk, and a gentleman came up to me and he said, you know, my daughter works in San Francisco. We got to find her a job so she can come back to Ohio. And I said, well, we're going to work on that because we got to do that. What we got to do is have all our sons and daughters here as well. And because I fundamentally believe what we're building here cannot be built anywhere else. Okay? Nowhere else. Nowhere else do you have the energy that's coming out of the ground. Nowhere else do you have the fact that within 600 miles, 60% of the American population, 60% of the manufacturing force, no one else has the rivers, no one else has the railroads, no one else has our workforce. We're number one in medical schools, we're number one in many of the engineering capability schools. We have Ohio State, we have education, we have all of those things, okay? And by the way, the weather's great. Okay, this last 12 months has been fabulous. I come from California. Everyone says, the weather stinks. The weather's fantastic. It was 106 in LA last week. So we have all these things. What we need to do is build upon it. And I look forward to working with David and his whole team as we go do that. And the governor has put together a whole workforce around figuring out what we're going to do with the chemical industry and the building trades industry and things like that. So we're really looking forward to working with all of you, and I thank you very much for your time. And again, sir, thank you very much for making the right decision to come to Ohio. Thank you.
Well, it's been a fun day. You know, I'd be remiss in my duties. This is a really interesting facility in the fact of, yes, we're located in Cambridge, but there's so many small communities located. You'd be shocked to know how far people come to work here. And we'll take that challenge, Governor. We will work hard. We've got employees from Barnesville, St. Clairsville, New Lex, Zanesville, Dover, New Philly, down to Marietta. And we're here. We're going to be the example that you can bring people in and show you why it will succeed in Ohio. And out of anything, I can guarantee you and promise you that effort will be there, and we'll do everything we can. I do want to thank my colleagues from Quanex for giving us this opportunity. You know, we're going to work hard and do what's right for our employees and our shareholders and continue to do right things for the environment, our employees, and the customers that we serve, and we're really excited. This is a great day. You all deserve this. Your hard work is the reason why we're here, and I can't wait to celebrate more accomplishments in the future. So, everybody, I appreciate your time and your attendance today, and thank you all for everything that you've done.